Chosen one. When you have free time, what do you usually do? Let me ask you again, when you are truly free, what do you find yourself doing? Chosen one. This question is not casual and it is not random. Heaven has been watching what you do in the quiet gaps of your life, in the moments when no one is applauding you, correcting you, or demanding anything from you. Those unseen moments are where God has been cultivating something far more valuable than money. While you thought nothing significant was happening, divine habits were being formed within you, habits the world cannot see but heaven deeply recognizes. Anointed one, this season is not about chasing wealth. It is about becoming the kind of steward heaven can trust with it. God has been shaping your inner world through divine solitude, sharpening your discernment through silence, and training your heart through radical generosity. These are not coincidences, they are preparations. They are signals that you are being aligned for kingdom-level resources, not personal comfort. Chosen one, if you have felt set apart, misunderstood, or quietly disciplined in ways others are not, this message is for you. What God is cultivating in you right now is unseen, but it is intentional. Stay with me because I am about to show you exactly how these hidden habits are preparing you to carry unprecedented wealth with wisdom, humility, and divine purpose. Chosen one. Something sacred has been happening beneath the surface of your life, and it did not start today. Long before you saw any external change, heaven began working quietly in places no one else could see. While others were measuring success by visibility, speed, and applause, God was measuring you by depth, restraint, and obedience. This is why your journey has felt slower, heavier, and more intentional. You were not being delayed, you were being developed. Anointed one. I want to speak directly to the part of you that has wondered why your life does not look like everyone else's, even when you have been faithful. There were seasons when you did everything right, yet nothing seemed to move. Seasons when you felt capable of more, yet remained hidden. I have lived those seasons. I know what it feels like to pray with sincerity, to show up with excellence and still feel unseen. What I learned and what heaven is revealing to you now is that God never prepares wealth by first increasing numbers. He prepares wealth by first increasing capacity. Chosen one, before God entrusts resources, he cultivates habits. Before he releases provision, he refines posture. And the habits he is cultivating in you right now are unseen by the world, but unmistakable in the spirit. These are not habits you learned from books or mentors. These are habits that were formed through pressure, silence, disappointment, and restraint. Habits that only come from walking closely with God when there is no guarantee of reward. There is a reason you have grown comfortable with being alone. Not isolated but selective, not withdrawn but discerning. You didn't choose this path because you wanted to be different. You chose it because your spirit could no longer tolerate noise, shallow conversations, and misaligned environments. I remember realizing this in my own life when rooms that once excited me began to exhaust me and solitude stopped feeling like loneliness and started feeling like oxygen. That shift was not accidental. It was God training me just as He is training you now. Anointed one, divine solitude is one of the first unseen wealth habits heaven cultivates. In those quiet spaces, God teaches you how to listen before He teaches you how to lead. He teaches you how to hear His voice above your own emotions, fears, and desires. Many people want wealth so they can escape their lives. God prepares wealth in those who are willing to confront their inner lives. That is why He pulled you away from constant stimulation and forced you to sit with yourself, your thoughts, and His presence. Chosen one. Some of your greatest ideas, insights and clarity did not come when you were busy. They came when you were still, when you were driving alone, when you were lying awake at night, when you were doing ordinary tasks with no one watching. Those moments were not random. Heaven was whispering strategy to you in a language only the quiet can hear. This is how God builds stewards, not spenders, builders, not consumers. Another unseen habit God has been cultivating in you is prophetic discernment. This is why you no longer move just because something looks good. You feel resistance when others feel excitement. You hesitate when others rush. And sometimes you have questioned yourself for it. I have questioned myself too. There were opportunities I walked away from that looked perfect on paper. People told me I was overthinking, too cautious, too spiritual. But later, I saw what I was protected from. Discernment will cost you approval before it rewards you with preservation. Anointed one. God is sharpening your ability to sense alignment, not just opportunity. The world teaches speed. Heaven teaches timing. The world rewards reaction. Heaven rewards obedience. You are being trained to recognize peace as confirmation and urgency as a warning. That alone tells me you are being prepared for more than personal success. You are being positioned for kingdom responsibility. Chosen one. Wealth without discernment destroys people. It amplifies their blind spots, their pride, their addictions, and their impatience. That is why God has allowed you to feel tested in small decisions, in relationships, in daily choices that seemed insignificant at the time. Each one was a rehearsal. Each one was heaven asking, "Can I trust you with more?" There is also a generosity forming in you that may not look dramatic, but it is deeply spiritual. I am not talking about public giving or performative kindness. I am talking about the quiet way you help without needing credit. The way you give time, energy, wisdom, or resources when no one is keeping score. I remember giving in seasons when I had very little, not because I was trying to be spiritual, but because something in me refused to close my hands. That instinct was not learned. It was cultivated by God. Anointed one, radical generosity is not about money. It is about trust. It is the habit of believing that God is your source, not your supply. And heaven never entrusts abundance to hands that grip too tightly. This is why God has been loosening your attachment to things, outcomes, and even people. Not to make you indifferent, but to make you free. Chosen one. All of this points to one truth you must hear clearly. Heaven is intervening in your story. You are not imagining the shift. You are not misreading the signs. The habits God has been cultivating in you are proof that elevation is near. But this elevation will not come loudly. It will come with alignment, with clarity, with doors opening that require no explanation. I say this as someone who has walked through confusion, delay, and hidden preparation. The moment things begin to move, you will realize why they could not move sooner. You will see how every unseen habit became a foundation strong enough to carry what is coming. And when heaven releases the next phase, you will not be overwhelmed by it. You will be ready. Chosen one, let this settle in your spirit. You are not behind. You are being entrusted. And what God is building in you now is far more valuable than what He is about to place in your hands. Chosen one. There is a reason heaven has been slow with you in areas where others seem to accelerate effortlessly. What looked like delay was actually divine restraint. God was not withholding from you. He was protecting what He was building in you. I need you to understand this deeply, because if you misinterpret the season you are coming out of, you will mismanage the season you are about to enter. Anointed one. There were moments when you felt frustrated with yourself. You questioned why your progress didn't match your potential. You knew you were capable of more, yet your life seemed narrowed, limited, almost restrained by invisible hands. I have felt that same tension, the ache of knowing there is more in you while circumstances force you to move slower than your capacity. That tension is not failure. That tension is formation. God often reduces your external options so he can increase your internal authority. He limits your access so he can deepen your alignment. This is why you could not take shortcuts without feeling uneasy. This is why certain opportunities collapsed at the last minute. This is why some relationships never stabilized, no matter how much effort you gave. Heaven was guarding you from building on foundations that could not carry the weight of what is coming. Chosen one. One of the most powerful, unseen wealth habits God cultivates is restraint. The ability to say no when you could say yes. The discipline to wait when impatience would feel justified. The strength to walk away even when ego wants validation. I learned this the hard way. I remember standing at doors that looked like answers to prayer, only to feel a quiet resistance in my spirit. Walking away felt illogical. Staying would have been easier, but obedience rarely feels convenient before it feels wise. Anointed One restraint trains you to value peace over applause. It teaches you to measure success by alignment, not outcome. That habit alone will preserve your future wealth more than any financial education ever could. Many people lose what God gives them because they were never trained to handle tension, temptation, or temptation disguised as opportunity. You were. This is also why God has been refining your relationship with time. You are no longer driven by urgency the way you once were. You feel a discomfort when things feel rushed. You have learned, sometimes painfully, that speed without clarity leads to regret. I remember rushing decisions in my earlier seasons, thinking momentum meant blessing. Every time I moved faster than my discernment, I paid for it later. Heaven used those moments to teach me patience, not as passivity, but as power. Chosen one. Patience is not waiting without movement. It is moving only when heaven confirms. That is a habit God has been engraving into you. You wait differently now. You pray differently now. You listen more than you speak. And while the world may interpret that as hesitation, heaven recognizes it as maturity. Another unseen habit God has been cultivating is emotional governance. You no longer react the way you used to. Things that once triggered you now expose you. You see patterns faster. You notice manipulation quicker. You sense when something is off, even if you cannot immediately explain it. This didn't come from comfort. It came from experience. It came from disappointment that forced you to grow up spiritually. Anointed One wealth magnifies emotional instability. That is why God has allowed you to face emotional tests before financial ones. He has let you sit in discomfort without numbing it. He has allowed you to feel misunderstood without rushing to defend yourself. He has trained you to respond, not react. This is not weakness. This is stewardship training. I remember seasons when my emotions felt louder than my faith. I would pray and still feel uncertain. I would believe and still feel anxious. Over time, God didn't remove emotions. He taught me how to lead them. He showed me how to act from truth, not feeling. That habit saved me later when decisions carried greater consequences. The same is happening in you now. Chosen one. God is also reshaping how you view money itself. You no longer romanticize it the way you once did. You see it as a tool, not a savior. You understand that money solves logistical problems but exposes spiritual ones. This awareness is rare, and it did not come from abundance. It came from lack, from pressure, from learning how to trust God when resources were tight. Anointed One. There were moments when you had just enough. Enough to survive, enough to keep going, enough to learn gratitude without entitlement. Those moments were not random, they were calibrations. God was teaching you how to manage provision before prosperity. He was watching how you handled little without bitterness, without comparison, without resentment. I remember learning to budget faith before budgeting money, learning to give when it didn't make sense, learning to save without fear, learning to trust God without testing Him. Those habits carried me into seasons where provision increased without anxiety. You are being led into that same posture now. Chosen One Heaven is not just preparing to bless you, it is preparing to trust you. That distinction matters. Blessing can come quickly, trust is built slowly, and what God entrusts to you next will require discernment, restraint, patience, emotional stability, and humility. The fact that these habits already exist in you is proof that heaven has been planning your elevation for a long time. Do not overlook the small ways you have changed. The way you pray with more honesty than performance. The way you walk away from drama without announcing it. The way you no longer need constant reassurance. The way silence no longer scares you. These are not personality shifts. They are spiritual upgrades. Anointed One. If your life feels quieter right now, that is not absence. That is focus. God often lowers the volume around you before He increases the impact through you. He is consolidating your energy. He is aligning your spirit. He is removing distractions that would dilute your authority. Chosen One, let this truth settle in you. You are not being prepared to receive wealth like the world receives it. You are being prepared to steward it without losing yourself, to carry it without worshipping it, to release it without fear. That kind of preparation is rare, and it always happens unseen. What God is cultivating in you right now will soon become evident, not through noise, but through stability, not through announcement, but through fruit. And when the shift comes, you will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by peace that confirms heaven is backing your steps. Chosen One. There comes a moment in every divinely prepared life when heaven begins to shift the atmosphere around them before it shifts the circumstances. You may not see evidence yet, but you can feel the weight changing. Conversations feel different. Opportunities approach you differently. Even resistance feels different. This is because God is no longer working only in you. He is beginning to work around you. Anointed One. I want to speak to the subtle changes you may have been noticing but haven't fully named. The way certain doors no longer attract you even when they remain open. The way certain people feel familiar but no longer feel aligned. The way your spirit reacts faster than your mind. These are not random emotional fluctuations. They are signs that heaven is recalibrating your discernment for a higher level of responsibility. One of the most critical unseen wealth habits God cultivates is alignment sensitivity. This is the ability to sense when something is right without needing external proof, and to sense when something is wrong even when it looks perfect. This sensitivity is costly to develop. It often comes through mistakes you wish you could undo, seasons you wish you could skip, and losses you never planned for. I have learned that God does not waste those seasons. He uses them to tune your spirit. There were times in my own journey when I ignored that quiet inner warning because logic made more sense than obedience. And every time the outcome taught me something painful but necessary. Over time I stopped arguing with discernment. I stopped demanding explanations before obedience. That shift changed everything. It didn't make life easier, but it made it clearer. And clarity is far more valuable than comfort. Chosen One. God has been training you to recognize alignment not by excitement, but by peace. The world celebrates adrenaline. Heaven confirms through stillness. That is why some opportunities that look extraordinary leave you restless, while others that look ordinary bring deep calm. This is not fear. This is wisdom forming in you. Anointed One discernment is expensive because it will cost you opportunities that others celebrate. It will cost you relationships that feel good but are misaligned. It will cost you timing that looks perfect but is premature. But what it preserves is far greater than what it costs. Discernment protects your future before it reveals it. Another habit God has been cultivating is your relationship with authority. Not human authority, but divine authority. You are learning how to submit without shrinking, how to lead without dominating, and how to stand firm without becoming rigid. This balance is rare. Many people either rebel or comply. Few learn how to align. I remember struggling with authority early on, questioning motives, resisting correction, wanting independence without accountability. Over time, God showed me that authority is not about control, it is about coverage. When I learned to honor authority without idolizing it, and to obey God even when authority was absent, something shifted internally. I stopped needing permission to become who God called me to be, but I also stopped resisting instruction when it came. Chosen one, wealth without respect for authority leads to isolation. Influence without humility leads to collapse. That is why God has allowed you to be misunderstood, corrected, even limited at times. He was not suppressing you. He was anchoring you. He was teaching you how to carry weight without becoming heavy. Anointed One, there is also a deep recalibration happening in how you view success. You no longer envy the fast rise. You no longer chase visibility for validation. You no longer measure yourself against timelines that were never assigned to you. This is maturity, and maturity is what heaven looks for before release. I remember watching others surpass me externally while I felt stuck internally. That season tested my heart more than any lack of money ever did. It revealed jealousy I didn't want to admit, and insecurity I thought I had healed. God didn't shame me for it. He healed me through it. Over time, comparison lost its power. I learned to celebrate others without questioning my own path. That freedom prepared me for later seasons, where acceleration didn't disturb my identity. Chosen one comparison disqualifies many from sustaining what God gives. That is why God often removes you from environments where comparison thrives. He isolates you not to punish you, but to preserve your focus. He teaches you how to run your race without looking sideways. Another unseen habit being formed is your obedience in obscurity. You have learned how to do the right thing even when no one notices, how to stay consistent when there is no reward, how to remain faithful without recognition. This habit is sacred. It is one of heaven's strongest indicators that you are ready for more. I can tell you from experience, when recognition finally comes, it does not intoxicate you if you have learned how to live without it. Applause does not confuse you if obedience already defined you. God has been teaching you how to live anchored, not addicted. Anointed One. This is also why God has been stripping away your dependence on external affirmation. You no longer need constant reassurance. You still appreciate encouragement, but you are not governed by it. This inner stability is not personality. It is formation. Wealth amplifies identity. If your identity is unstable, wealth destabilizes you further. If your identity is anchored, wealth becomes an extension of purpose. God has been anchoring you quietly, deliberately, and thoroughly. Chosen one. You may have wondered why certain prayers seemed unanswered even though your intentions were pure. It was not because God was silent. it was because he was answering differently. Instead of changing your circumstances, he was changing your capacity. Instead of removing the pressure, he was strengthening your core. And now, Anointed One, Heaven is beginning to respond to who you have become, not just what you have asked for. This is a shift many never experience. God responds to maturity with momentum. He responds to alignment with acceleration. He responds to stewardship with supply. Pay attention to how things are beginning to line up without force, how conversations happen naturally, how solutions appear without desperation, how favor feels calmer than you imagined. These are signs that heaven is moving in cooperation with you, not resistance. Chosen one. The habits God has cultivated in you are not glamorous, but they are powerful. They will not make headlines, but they will sustain legacy. And as these habits continue to mature, you will find yourself walking into rooms, decisions, and opportunities with a quiet authority that cannot be taught. This is not because you arrived, it is because you were prepared. Chosen one. There is a sacred shift that happens when God begins to trust you with influence before he ever trusts you with increase. You may not have named it yet, but you've felt it. The way your words carry more weight than they used to. The way people listen differently now. The way situations seem to pause, almost waiting for your response. This is not coincidence. This is authority being activated quietly. Anointed One authority does not arrive loudly. It settles, it grounds you, it changes how you move through ordinary moments. I remember the first time I realized this in my own life. Nothing dramatic happened on the outside, but internally I felt a steadiness I had never known. Decisions no longer came from fear or urgency. They came from clarity. That clarity didn't make me faster. It made me accurate, and accuracy matters more than speed when what you carry can affect others. One of the unseen wealth habits God has been cultivating in you is responsibility without entitlement. You no longer assume you deserve things just because you have suffered. You understand now that pain does not automatically qualify you for promotion. Obedience does. Faithfulness does. Humility does. This understanding separates you from many who want elevation without accountability. Chosen one. God has been watching how you handle responsibility when no one is rewarding you for it. How you show up when there is no applause. How you stay consistent when motivation fades. These moments may feel small, but they are the training ground for stewardship. I learned that God pays close attention to how we manage what feels beneath us, because that reveals how we will manage what feels beyond us. Anointed One, there were times when you carried burdens that were not assigned to you. You overextended yourself. You tried to rescue situations God never asked you to fix, and it exhausted you. Heaven allowed that exhaustion to teach you boundaries. Not walls, but wisdom. You are learning the difference between compassion and control, between responsibility and rescue. That lesson alone will protect you when wealth increases, because not every need is yours to meet. Another unseen habit being cultivated is your ability to separate emotion from obedience. You still feel deeply, but you no longer let feelings dictate direction. That did not come easily. It came through disappointment, through unanswered prayers, through moments when your heart wanted one thing and God asked for another. I know how painful that can be. I know how confusing it feels to obey when it costs you emotionally, but that discipline is priceless. Chosen one. Emotional obedience is fragile. It works only when God aligns with your desires. Spiritual obedience works even when He doesn't. God has been teaching you to obey Him, not because it feels good, but because it is right. That habit creates resilience, and resilience is necessary for anyone called to carry lasting influence. Anointed One, you are also being trained in discretion. You no longer feel the need to explain everything you are doing or justify every decision. Silence has become a strategy for you, not a defense. This is important. Wealth attracts opinions. Influence attracts projections. God is teaching you how to move quietly so that noise does not interfere with purpose. I learned this through mistakes, through speaking too soon, through sharing plans that were still fragile. Every time I exposed something before it was ready, I invited unnecessary resistance. Over time, God taught me that not everything needs to be announced to be activated. Some things grow best in silence. You are learning this now. Chosen One, discretion protects momentum. It preserves energy. It filters access. That habit alone will save you from many distractions when doors begin to open. Not everyone who celebrates you deserves proximity to you. God has been training you to discern access, not just opportunity. Another habit being formed is your willingness to let God redefine success. Success for you no longer means proving people wrong. It no longer means outpacing others. It means alignment, peace, fruit that remains. I remember when my definition of success was fueled by comparison and validation. Even when I achieved things I felt empty, God had to dismantle that mindset before He could trust me with more. Chosen One, God is dismantling false success in you now. He is removing the need to impress. He is freeing you from timelines that were never yours. He is teaching you how to value depth over display. That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. When success is redefined internally, prosperity no longer threatens your identity. Anointed One, heaven is also reshaping how you view power. You are learning that true power is the ability to remain grounded when others become reactive, the ability to stay kind without becoming weak, the ability to stand firm without becoming harsh. This balance is rare. It only forms in those who have been tested on both extremes. I have been on both sides. I have been too soft and paid for it. I have been too rigid and regretted it. God uses those lessons to shape discernment. You are learning when to speak and when to stay silent, when to step forward and when to step back. This wisdom will guide you when decisions carry weight beyond yourself. Chosen One, there is also a deep purification happening in your motives. You are no longer driven by the desire to be seen as spiritual, successful, or chosen. You are content with being obedient. That is a dangerous place for the enemy and a safe place for you. When motives are pure, God can move freely. Anointed One, purity of motive does not mean perfection. It means honesty. It means bringing your fears, ambitions, and desires before God without hiding them. I learned that God is not threatened by our ambition. He is threatened by our dishonesty. When I stopped pretending and started surrendering, clarity came. Direction followed. Peace settled. Chosen One. This is why your prayers have changed. They are simpler now, deeper, less performative. You are not asking God to prove Himself. You are asking Him to lead you. That posture invites guidance. It invites trust. It invites partnership. As these unseen habits continue to form, you may notice that life feels quieter but heavier in a different way. Not burdensome, but meaningful. Decisions matter more now. Words matter more. Your presence carries influence even when you are not trying to lead. This is the weight of stewardship beginning to settle on you. Anointed One, do not rush this season. Do not despise its subtlety. God is not withholding anything from you. He is aligning everything for you. What is being built in you now will determine how well you can carry what is being released later. Chosen One, You are not just being prepared to receive, you are being prepared to govern. And that kind of preparation always happens unseen. Chosen one. There is a moment when preparation begins to turn inward, when God is no longer just shaping how you act, but how you see. This is where many people become uncomfortable because perspective determines direction. Heaven has been gently and sometimes painfully adjusting your vision. You no longer see life through urgency or lack. You are beginning to see through stewardship. Anointed One stewardship is not about control. It is about responsibility with humility. God has been training you to hold things without clenching your fists, to care deeply without becoming possessive, to value outcomes without worshipping them. I remember when I first noticed this shift in myself. I stopped asking, how do I get more, and started asking, how do I handle what I already have? That question changed everything. It slowed me down, it grounded me, and it revealed areas of immaturity I didn't know were still there. Chosen one. God always deals with perspective before he deals with provision. If you see wealth as escape, it will enslave you. If you see wealth as validation, it will hollow you out. But if you see wealth as assignment, it will align you. Heaven is aligning your perspective now. That is why certain fantasies have lost their appeal. You no longer dream about money in vague terms. You think about impact, responsibility, sustainability. That shift is not accidental. Anointed one. Another unseen habit God has been cultivating is your relationship with trust. Not just trusting God, but being trustworthy. There is a difference. Trusting God is learned through surrender. Being trustworthy is formed through consistency. God has been watching how you handle promises, deadlines, commitments, and integrity when it costs you something. I learned early on that God tests trustworthiness in ordinary life long before he tests it in extraordinary opportunity. There were moments when doing the right thing meant losing money, time, or advantage. It hurt. It felt unfair. But over time I realized those moments were deposits. They built credibility in the unseen. And credibility in the unseen always precedes credibility in the seen. You are making those same deposits now. Chosen one. Trustworthiness is an unseen currency in the kingdom. It is quiet, it is slow, and it compounds. This is why God has been more concerned with who you are becoming than what you are accumulating. He knows that accumulation without trustworthiness collapses under pressure. Anointed one. Heaven has also been shaping how you respond to pressure. You no longer panic the way you used to. Pressure still exists, but it no longer defines you. You have learned how to breathe in uncertainty, how to pause before reacting, how to bring anxiety into the presence of God instead of letting it rule your decisions. This habit will protect you when stakes are higher. I remember moments when pressure exposed every insecurity in me. Deadlines, expectations, responsibilities all collided at once. In those seasons, God didn't remove the pressure. He taught me how to carry it. He showed me that pressure reveals capacity, not weakness. As capacity increased, pressure lost its power. You are learning this now. Chosen one. Pressure without purpose crushes people. Pressure with purpose forms leaders. God has been allowing pressure in measured doses not to break you, but to stretch you. That stretching has created resilience. And resilience is essential for anyone called to steward influence, resources, and responsibility over time. Another unseen habit forming in you is gratitude without excess. You are thankful, but not dependent. You appreciate blessings, but you are not defined by them. This balance is rare. Many people swing between entitlement and deprivation. Gratitude anchors you in the middle. It keeps your heart open without making it needy. Anointed one. Gratitude is not pretending everything is fine. It is acknowledging God's faithfulness even when things are unfinished. I learned this in seasons when progress was slow and answers were unclear. Gratitude didn't change my circumstances overnight, but it changed my posture. That posture allowed me to receive guidance instead of bitterness. Chosen One Heaven is also refining your discernment around people. You no longer assign access based on emotion alone. You observe patterns, you listen to tone, you notice consistency. This does not make you cold, it makes you wise. Wealth attracts interest, but discernment filters intention. God is training you to manage proximity carefully. I have learned that not everyone who celebrates your success can handle your responsibility. Some people love the fruit, but cannot honor the root. God has allowed you to experience betrayal, misunderstanding, and disappointment, not to harden you, but to teach you discernment without cynicism. That balance is critical. Anointed One. This is why your circle has become smaller but stronger, quieter but more aligned. You no longer feel the need to be surrounded by many voices. You value clarity over consensus. That shift prepares you for leadership that is stable, not reactive. Chosen One, there is also a deep internalization of faith happening. You no longer borrow faith from others. You no longer need constant confirmation. You have your own history with God now, your own evidence, your own encounters. This personal faith will sustain you when external affirmation is absent. I remember when my faith was mostly inherited, learned, or borrowed. It worked until it didn't. When real pressure came, borrowed faith collapsed. God had to give me my own experiences, my own testimonies, my own scars. Those scars became anchors. You are building those anchors now. Anointed One Heaven is not just preparing you for wealth, it is preparing you for longevity. Short-term success is easy to achieve and easy to lose. Long-term stewardship requires character that can withstand cycles, seasons, and shifts. God is forming that character in you quietly. Chosen One. This is why you may feel less dramatic than before, less extreme, less reactive. You are not losing passion, you are gaining stability. Stability is not boring to heaven. It is beautiful, it is trustworthy, it is sustainable. As these unseen habits mature, you will notice that your confidence feels different. It is quieter. It does not need to announce itself. It does not rise and fall with circumstances. This confidence is not self-belief. It is God-awareness, and that kind of confidence carries weight. Anointed One, let this settle deeply. God is not rushing you because He is not risking you. He is preparing you to carry what many ask for, but few can sustain. Every unseen habit being cultivated in you is proof that heaven has already decided you are worth preparing properly. You are not being shaped for a moment. You are being shaped for a mandate. Chosen One. There is a sacred moment when preparation gives way to positioning, when God does not announce the shift, but you feel it settling into place. It is not dramatic. It is deliberate. You are no longer striving to become someone else. You are standing fully in who God has been forming all along. This is where many people become afraid, because standing in position carries weight. But you were not brought this far to hesitate now. Anointed One, positioning is not promotion, it is readiness. It is the quiet knowing that you can carry what is coming without losing yourself. I remember the moment I sensed this in my own life. Nothing changed outwardly, yet inwardly I felt a firmness, a settled confidence that I did not need to chase what was meant for me. That confidence did not make me passive, it made me precise. Chosen One. God has been aligning your inner world so thoroughly that your outer world has no choice but to respond. This is why things begin to find you instead of you chasing them. This is why doors open without force. This is why conversations shift without explanation. Heaven responds to alignment, not effort. And you are aligned now in a way you were not before. Anointed One. One of the final unseen habits God cultivates before release is surrender without resignation. You have learned how to let go without giving up, how to trust without disconnecting, how to wait without shrinking. This is rare. Many people either cling too tightly or detach completely. You have learned how to remain engaged while surrendered. That posture is powerful. I learned this through seasons where nothing made sense. I wanted clarity, timelines, guarantees. God gave me none of those. He gave me Himself. Over time, I realized that surrender is not about losing control. It is about transferring it to someone more capable. That realization freed me. You are experiencing that freedom now. Chosen One. Heaven is also sealing your identity at this stage. You are no longer easily shaken by opinions, delays, or detours. You know who you are becoming, even if others cannot yet see it. This internal sealing is essential. Wealth tests identity. Influence exposes insecurity. God seals identity before He releases responsibility. Anointed One. This is why your need to explain yourself has faded. You are comfortable being misunderstood for a season. You are no longer driven to prove your intentions. Silence has become strength. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you know when speaking would dilute what God is doing. I remember learning this lesson painfully. Speaking too soon, explaining too much, seeking validation where God was asking for trust. Each time I felt the drag it created. Over time, God taught me restraint, not as fear, but as wisdom. You have learned this now. That will protect you in the days ahead. Chosen One. There is also a deep sobriety settling into your spirit. Not heaviness, but clarity. You understand now that what is coming is not just blessing, it is responsibility. Lives will be affected by your decisions. Atmospheres will shift by your presence. Resources will move through your hands. This awareness does not intimidate you, it humbles you, and humility attracts heaven. Anointed One. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking accurately about your role. You are not the source, you are the steward. That understanding keeps you grounded when increase comes. I have seen people lose themselves because they forgot this distinction. God will not allow that to happen to you because He has trained you differently. Chosen One. Heaven is also activating your legacy consciousness. You no longer think only about today. You think about impact, continuity, sustainability. You ask different questions now. Not, how does this benefit me, but what does this build? That shift marks the transition from receiver to builder. I remember when my prayers changed. They became less about relief and more about responsibility, less about escape and more about endurance. God met me there. He trusted me there. You are meeting Him in that same place now, Anointed One. This is where supernatural alignment begins to feel natural, not forced, not overwhelming, just right. Things fall into place without drama. Provision arrives without panic. Guidance comes without confusion. This is not coincidence. It is the fruit of unseen cultivation. Chosen One, do not underestimate the power of what has been built in you. The habits formed in silence, the discernment sharpened through loss, the patience strengthened through waiting, the humility refined through obscurity. These are not small things. They are the infrastructure of destiny. Anointed One, as you stand here now, understand this clearly. Heaven is not testing you anymore. It is trusting you. The season of proving has given way to the season of partnering. God is not watching to see if you will fail. He is watching to see how you will steward what He already knows you can carry. Chosen one, you will not recognize the shift by fireworks. You will recognize it by peace, by stability, by authority that does not need to announce itself. When things begin to move, you will not panic. You will respond. When increase comes, you will not boast. You will steward. When influence expands, you will not shrink. You will stand. Anointed one, this is the culmination of unseen preparation. Not an ending, but a settling, a grounding, a readiness that does not need applause. Heaven has cultivated you patiently, intentionally, and lovingly. And now, chosen one, you are positioned not above others but within purpose, not ahead of time but aligned with it. What God releases through you will not collapse because it has been built on habits the world never saw, but heaven fully approved. Stand steady, walk humbly, steward boldly. You are ready. Chosen one, as this word settles into your spirit, know this with certainty: nothing you have walked through has been wasted. Every quiet habit, every hidden discipline, every unseen surrender has been recorded in heaven. What God has been cultivating in you was never meant to stay hidden forever. It was preparation for this moment. Anointed one, a supernatural transfer is already in motion. Not rushed, not forced, but released in divine order. You are standing in your Kairos moment, the exact window heaven appointed for alignment, elevation, and trust. What is coming will not overwhelm you because you have been formed for it. What is unfolding will not confuse you because your spirit has been trained to recognize God's timing. I declare peace over your steps, clarity over your decisions, and favor over everything your hands touch. May what has been built in secret now be established with strength. May wisdom guard you, humility anchor you, and gratitude keep your heart aligned as heaven begins to manifest what was promised. Chosen one, remain faithful. Stay aligned with the flow of the anointing. Walk forward without fear and without haste. What God is releasing will meet you exactly where you are. If this word resonated with your spirit, honor it quietly. Stay connected. Share it with someone who needs alignment. And if you feel led, leave a simple sign of agreement in the comments and note the city you're standing in. Heaven knows your name, your place, and your time.